Sarah, you know what? I've been thinking.
Oh my, here we go. What's been on your mind, Renee? We all want to know.
Like I believe that. So I've been thinking, there are so many amazing stories developing right here in Fostoria, Ohio. And I can only imagine that there are very similar stories happening all over rural and suburban America. And these stories deserve to be told.
I wholeheartedly agree. But I'm sure that doesn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't. You should agree with me because I'm right.
Right. So what do we do about all these stories?
Well, we've got to make it our mission to tell them. They deserve a platform, and that's what this podcast shall be. I've decided.
Well, Renee's decided, and that's how it shall be.
Exactly.
Truthfully, you're right. I know here in Fostoria, we're all working together to make the most of a multitude of resources out there. Lots of people probably don't know about all the resources available to them. We could share all the resources we've capitalized on via this podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
Glad to know we're on the same page.
Yup. So buckle up, people, and enjoy another episode of Shut Up and Listen.
Small Town Stories
With Sarah
and Renee.
This is going to be 20 minutes of your life that
We'll never get back.
you'll get it back.
Okay. What number is this for you guys?
31. 185.
Right, I love how Ashley could just spout out a number.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Nice.
I was like, I have no idea. Has it really been that many?
Yes.
31.
Yes. Tell me how you feel. Too funny.
So our guest today is one we've had on the podcast before, but when she was on before, you were wearing one of your many other hats.
Yes.
So we have Michele Cochran with us today, but today you're going to be talking about your role as the director of the Greater Fostoria Community Foundation.
Yes.
Welcome, Michele.
Thank you, Renee. Good morning.
Welcome back.
I feel like I never left.
Well, you love us so much. You just couldn't help it. Be a return guest. You and the mayor.
Oh, wow. I feel so
Yes,
special.
you should feel special.
An auspicious
Yes.
list.
So I love this topic today.
Yes.
Because I don't think a lot of people realize that we have our own community foundation in Fostoria.
Great. It is really a gem, I guess, that a lot of people don't know about. It's something that's been around since about 1998 here in Fostoria. We started, I think, it was a group of people. Community Framework for Progress was something that was started with the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development, and there was a group of about 27 people that formed this steering committee to do this capital raising campaign. And they went out there, they raised like $1 million to start the foundation, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, that people were that passionate about the community, what they could do, and it's just grown phenomenally from there. So it's really a great resource in the community that I'm glad you're helping shine a light on it so people can get a little more background on what's happening and what we can do.
So since 1998, it has grown tremendously.
Yes.
And you provide grants twice a year. Do you want to talk a little bit about that opportunity?
Yes. So we have a lot of different types of funds. We have some community funds that are unrestricted, and we have some donor advised funds that the donors that set those funds up can give a little more direction where they would like their funds to support. So the reason we do the funds to begin with is for this grants program. It's to support the foundation or to support the community. And we do ask for applications twice a year, and we review those looking at anything from a one-time programming request to maybe longer term capital programs, just anything that can happen. So we look at those grant applications, we have the board review them, and we really help somebody move along forward with their goals. Because a lot of the nonprofits in our organizations, in our community, they just don't have a lot of money that they can do things. So this kind of helps jumpstart their programs.
So applications are due in February and August of each year.
That's correct.
Are there specific types of projects. You spoke about donor advised funds. I mean, what types of projects does the foundation typically look to support?
Well, it's an interesting question, because I was kind of looking over what has happened since the inception in 1998. And a lot of the initial programs that we supported were some of the smaller requests, tried to get different things going in the schools. We've grown to more, Foundation Park was a project that we kind of took on and we really embraced for several years, actually. And then now I'm starting to see more of a swing towards workforce development, and we're going to have a scholarship fund for the first time, and that's really going to help that. So it's really looking at the community needs and what's really most important at the time. And it does change and flex, and the number of nonprofits flex. So we're really open to lots of different projects, and we're going to be supporting the Splash Pad project, and that's a big community development initiative. So it's, again, we like those tangibles, and anything that's overall improving the quality of life.
And that's one of the reasons why it's such a great community resource, is because there's a lot of flexibility in funding, and you can kind of evolve with the times and what the community needs. When you talk about Foundation Park, I think it's important to note that it wasn't always called Foundation Park. It was once Meadowlark Park, but because of all of the investment and the work the foundation did, it was renamed in honor of the Greater Fostoria Community Foundation.
Right. We spent, I think, 9 years we were doing a fundraiser specifically for Foundation Park. We did a lot of capital improvements. The dugouts are absolutely gorgeous. They're brick now. The fields were all manicured. The concession stand was revamped, and we did all that. So that was a large focus. And then we also helped, because we partnered with the Geary Family YMCA to manage that. It is a city-owned asset, but as you know, that's not really something the city could really manage. So the YMCA, has done the programming and everything. And they have now, stepped up. They've been doing their own fundraising now, and it's just become a really great resource. So, it was something that the foundation really had set aside as, what can we do to make a big impact? So that was something that was definitely a multi-year commitment.
But another great example of collaborative partnerships in the community to really make a positive change and have a big impact.
Right, and I think that is so important because, a small community, we know each other, we work together well. We have a lot of our supporters that, any project we come up with, they're going to step forward. I can't speak enough of all the partnerships that we've had over the years. And I think, you two can attest to that as well. You see that with everything that you do. So it's great.
So how long have you been involved in the foundation?
Yeah, so I started in 2010. February was a very busy month. As you said, we do have grant applications that come in, and we also have our major fundraiser in February. So I started in the middle of February in 2010 to a stack this big of grant applications, and we have this big Mardi Gras, and you need to raise all this money so you can get paid, and so we can pay this and this. So it's just been kind of like a fun roller coaster, nonstop ride ever since. And we've seen tremendous growth. I think we had 13 funds when I started. We now have 37 different funds. So it's a lot of meeting with donors who have an idea of what they want to do with some funds, how they can help the community and make it grow. And so it's just really a rewarding opportunity, to meet new people and see what they want to do to support, their near and dear people to their heart, causes, and everything else. So it's really fun.
So in your decade plus
oh my
with the foundation, you've seen a lot of projects come across your desk and go before the board. Are there any that really stick out in your mind as either some of your favorites or maybe some that you felt were incredibly impactful at that time? Anything that deserves a little shout out?
I love all of them because they all represent someone's passion as far as what they're trying to do to make a difference in the world.
What else politically correct?
Well, that's, if I have to be anything,
doesn't play favorites.
I have to be politically correct. But I mean, truly, there's something great in each one of them. Something near and dear to my heart was the foundation had started working with some of the outdoor public art. They helped fund one of the early outdoor murals. And, also supported some of the sculptures, and that's been something that's been happening in our community to improve the quality of life, the appearance, the beautification. So that's something that I appreciate. Obviously Foundation Park was definitely a highlight, and then again the splash pad. It's just big things that people see. Those are very impactful, and I know smaller projects are important too, but those are really some of the highlights for me.
So if someone were listening to this episode and were interested in learning more about the foundation or how to apply for those funds, how could they reach out to you?
Okay, so we do have a website, FostoriaFoundation.com. There's a whole section on the grant application process. Again, as Renee mentioned, that is twice a year, and that's for our unrestricted funds. I will also say, if it's a donor advised fund, those can be happening at the donor's request. So you may hear, well, how did they get that fund come through? How did they get that money? Because that wasn't part of an application process. Anyway, so that is all happening. We do have a Facebook page as well, and I'm available here at the Fostoria Learning Center to talk to anyone at any time.
Okay. So that's how people can get funds, but what if someone is interested in contributing to the foundation or setting up a fund? What does that process look like?
Okay. So it's actually really very simple. It can be very, we can set up a fund in a matter of a couple weeks. We are an affiliate of the Greater Toledo Community Foundation, and they help with all those arrangements as far as coming up with that fund agreement. It's really just a document that helps discuss what your goals are and how we would go about doing it. And it doesn't have to be complex at all. It can be complex. And, we have those conversations. I've had conversations with some people who want to talk about all these different things they have for the future. And we have an opportunity called a legacy fund, and you can do your estate planning and you can have that all worked out. But again, it's just a matter of, what do I want to do with my funds? If you want to just donate to a specific one, that's just writing a check. We've even had people give us a car in their will. So, there's lots of different ways that you can support your community. It doesn't have to be money. So, yes.
Well, Michelle, we as organizations have worked with Community Foundation on a variety of projects. And I agree with you. I think it is a gem in this community that a lot of people are just not aware of. And they hear Community Foundation and they don't understand how it's applicable to them or their organizations. And so we appreciate you coming on today and kind of breaking that down a little bit for people in the community, because it is a resource that is out there. And twice a year they could be, having conversations and seeing if it's applicable to something they're trying to accomplish.
Yes. I do appreciate the opportunity. I mean, there's so many different things going on. A lot of people don't know what can they do, how can I help, and it's just amazing how a little bit can grow to a lot. Like I said, that initial group raised, I think, $1 million just to start the foundation fund. We have given now almost $3.5 million back to the community since 1998 and so that, just to think about the growth and how money continues to grow and how it goes back out to the community. So it's definitely impactful.
And I think it should be noted that the Greater Fostoria Community Foundation supports local.
Yes.
You're not giving grants out to other communities, other states. I mean, it is really geared to benefit the Fostoria community or the Greater Fostoria community.
Right. Every dollar that is raised for our community funds does go right back out to our community here. And that is, definitely good to note. We raise all the money to do our own operating expenses and everything, so that's independent of what someone does into a donor fund. So, it's kind of a great machine.
It is. It really is.
Yes, and we've tried really hard on our podcast to highlight the various resources that are available to us in Fostoria, but a lot of other smaller communities. But I think our own foundation is sadly sort of unique to us, but what a tremendous benefit it is.
Yes. Like I mentioned, we are an affiliate of the Toledo Foundation. They have some other affiliates as well. And they've always told me from the beginning that our community is very unique because we do have a lot of those unrestricted funds specifically for the community. A lot of other people have maybe specific scholarship funds or field of interest that's just one small thing that's all they wanted to support. But we have been blessed with lots of flexibility, and we can see a lot more projects happen because of that. So again, we're very fortunate in this community to have people who care and want to see it continue to thrive and grow and improve that quality of life, which is really, that's why we're here.
I love that as an ending statement.
I know, I thought about it a little bit, and this kind of wraps it up well.
It does.
Nice job, Michelle.
It does. And
Thank
so I feel like that's a great place to end this episode with that heartfelt thought.
Okay.
And since you've been on the couch multiple times before, I'm going to spare you the rapid fire questions.
I'm
lucky.
My gosh. I am
so
lucky.
I really think that you are.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a gift.
It is.
To quote you earlier last week, Christmas came early.
And you spent all morning mentally preparing yourself.
What
would
she
it be?
asked
What would
me.
it be?
So for a Monday, I mean,
Because
that
I
is
too
kind.
was thinking of it, but I will also be kind and not fire away questions at you. I will keep them to myself.
Okay.
So with that, we will conclude this episode of Shut Up and Listen
Small Town Stories
with Sarah
and Renee.